Our fishing industry has been on the receiving end of many body blows over the last 50 years. Increased regulation, reduced quotas, the opening up of our waters to outside competition, and many others. In fact, the whole treatment of the fishing industry by this and previous governments is a disgrace. We have abdicated all responsibility to the EU. When I or other politicians raise serious concerns that the fishing industry have, it's usually met with hand-washing, buck passing and finger-pointing. We can't do anything about that. It's an EU issue. That seems to be the stock response when dealing with fishing. You have to wonder, what's the point in having a Department of Marine at all? The Minister deflects to the EU, and if that doesn't suit, he deflects to the regulatory authority, the SFPA, and this cannot be the ongoing situation. In late April, I highlighted the lack of joined-up thinking when it comes to issuing licences for marine activities, where we have 2 licences for 2 separate activities granted by 2 separate departments, for activities in the same waters which were ultimately in conflict with each other. And I'll repeat what I said then. The fishermen of Wexford, Duncannon and Kilmore want to be able to head out and earn their living and not have to arrive home to a threatening cease and desist letter waiting for them in the postbox from some billion-dollar cable-laying conglomerate. This is one example of where our fishing industries have been treated with disdain. No consultation, no engagement. Now we have an issue around the regulations in which we're expecting fishermen to weigh their fish on the quayside. The control plan mechanism was in place because the department signed up to something that was completely unimplementable in the first place and without consultation with the industry, and it had to be derogated. Now, overnight, the Fishing Authority, the SFPA, are saying that it's up to the fishermen themselves to provide the quayside weighing mechanism, and in so doing turn the whole industry on its head, demanding that fish are weighed on the pier or quayside. Chair, by way of comparison, the RSA does not require hauliers to provide weigh bridges to weigh their trucks on the roadside. Yet we have the SFPA expecting the fishing industry to do just that. Burdens are being placed on the people in our fishing industry that we simply wouldn't dare to place on other industries, nor would government agencies get away with it. In Kilmore Quay, for example, the fish can be transported a few hundred metres up the road and weighed there. Yet now, with these new procedures, they must install weighing facilities on the publicly used pier in Kilmore at their own expense. It's totally impractical, and it strikes me that those making such decisions have no regard for the daily challenges facing fishermen. Chair, fish are stored and carried in ice. It's no mean feat to remove the ice on the quayside and weigh the fish and then re-ice to transport again. This is all a consequence of the EU Commission revoking Ireland's control plan, and on that basis of unproven and unprosecuted allegations against the entire Irish fishing industry, information they received from the SFPA, and it must not be allowed to jeopardise Ireland's reputation in the production of premium quality fish. I'm in touch almost on a daily basis with fishermen and those involved in fish processing. They are totally exasperated with the new state of affairs. Until now, they had a digital weighing mechanism certified by the NSAI, and all they had to do was hit a button and the information went straight into the department. Now, as a result of our control plan being revoked, they have to complete pages and pages of handwritten paperwork for every catch. Expecting people to move from digital to paper is going backwards, Chair. If a driver leaves Kilmore in a truck to collect fish around Ireland's coast, he has to consider his legal driving time and allot time accordingly to return to the processing factory where 100 people are waiting to process same. His time is now taken up having to complete reams of handwritten paperwork also. Actually, in one case, 42 pages, which jeopardises being able to carry out the collections and return to the factory within his driving time. It's complete and utter madness. This affects fishermen bringing their catch ashore. It affects the food processors. It affects the truck driver who is on a tachograph, sending the drivers over their driving time and making delays inevitable, therefore affecting the staff in the processing plant and in turn disrupting the supply chains of fish. This is a commercial reality, and I have no doubt that the case currently before the courts will deal with the commercial reality. It would be nice if the government did so first. But when it comes to the EU, all that seems to matter to government is that we are seen to be the good boys in the class, the bootlickers, the lickspittles, while our fishing industry has been treated like a doormat. So what do our fishermen want? How can we help? Because these problems need to be solved to the satisfaction of the fishing community. My discussions with those involved have identified a number of things which need to be done. And top of the list is, 1, the renegotiation of the common fisheries policy so that fishing quotas and total allowable catches should be governed by zonal attachment under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea rules. Chair, there should be absolutely no delay in this regard, nor any excuses. Irish fishermen and women have been disproportionately affected by Brexit and the agreement on fisheries, which is accepted by government. Thereby, they must endeavour to ensure the renegotiations of Europe's quota happens as soon as possible. 2, the trade and cooperation agreement between the EU and the UK was both unfair and unjust and did not reflect the level playing pitch's rules of relative stability. This must be put right so that there is an equal burden sharing throughout the Member States. 3, on enforcement, that penalty points should only be applied to licence holders and skippers following a court conviction. 4, the revoking of Ireland's control plan by the EU Commission on the basis of unproven and unprosecuted allegations against the entire Irish fishing industry must not be allowed to jeopardise Ireland's reputation in the production of premium quality fish. 5, access to our traditional fishing grounds at Rockall to be negotiated by diplomatic means. 6, the migrant workers' atypical scheme governing non-EU EEA fishers must be reviewed to ensure a level playing pitch for all those working in the agri-food sector. 7, all workers who spend in excess of 24 hours at sea must be granted equal rights with all other workers under our revenue and taxation laws. I implore the government to listen and take these asks on board before more irreparable damage is done.